Welcome to DWBIRDA channel. Please subscribe for latest training videos.
Firebase is a simple mobile and web app development platform that provides developers with a plethora of tools and services to help them develop high-quality apps, grow their user base, and earn more profit. After it was acquired by Google in 2014, Firebase rapidly evolved into one of the most successful mobile and web platform, and it has around 1.5 million users. Firebase services can be divided into some groups like services for developing, for growing, and for earning. For developing, we have real-time database, authentication, cloud messaging, storage, hosting, etc. etc. For growing, we have notifications, app indexing, dynamic links, and for earnings, we have, of course, Google's platform for ads, it's AdMob. So let's go further and talk about implementing database into your Android project. And here we're at the Android setup page. As you can see, Firebase has everything nicely explained, and also you have a video which you can watch. Here you have steps one by one, how can you implement Firebase into your project. Also you have anything that you need to insert in your dependencies file. I talked about that in some previous tutorials. In build.gradle module app we can insert this and some other lines like this, and here is the implementation line. I said that this is very important. Also we can scroll down and see some services or products that database enables us, that are analytics, app indexing, authentication. We have cloud messaging, cloud storage, dynamic links, everything that I talked before, real-time database. We can also store pictures into database platform, and it has many services that can be very useful. Also AdMob. And that would be it about this implementation page. It's very simple and everything is explained very well. You also need to download some Google service.json files and insert it in your app, but if you read this carefully, you'll have no problems with implementing database into your project. Now let's go to the overview page of our project. Now we're at the project overview page. We have some general information about our app here. We have daily active users, some kind of analytics and statistic for our app. Also we can see how much times our app crashed and everything else. We have some services that we implemented here, like for our app, that's real-time database and storage. We have how many downloads and how many our storage is used, as you can see here. Then we have some other services that we can also include into our app, and that would be it for this project overview. We have name of our app and then our package name. You'll see when you implement Firebase into your project why package name or application ID is so important. And that would be it about this project overview page. Now let's go to the authentication. We'll talk now about authentication service. So Firebase Authentication provides backend services, easy to use SD keys, and ready-made UI libraries to authenticate users to your app. Normally it would take you months to set up your own authentication system, and even after that you would need to keep a dedicated team to maintain that system. But if we use Firebase, we can set up the entire system in under 10 lines of code, and that system will work perfectly and we don't have to maintain it every day. Also, there are many options to authenticate users, as you can see. We have email and password option enabled, but you also have phone, Google Play Games, Game Center, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, Yahoo, Microsoft, and anonymous options which you can use for authentication. You have your authorized domains and some other data. Also you can see your users here. We're at the most important part of Firebase that we're using in our app. That's Firebase database. As Firebase is no SQL cloud database, data is signed across all clients in real time and remains available when your app goes offline. Also, the Firebase real-time database is a cloud-hosted database, and data is stored as a JSON and synchronized in real time to every connected client. When we build cross-platform apps with our iOS, Android, and JavaScript SDKs, all of our clients share one real-time database instance and automatically receive updates with the newest data. So that was theory about Firebase database. Now let's go to the explanation of our Firebase database, our organization. As you can see, our first node is named users, and that represents users of our app are stored in this node, users. Then we have user UID, and you'll see what that is when we talk about registration and login. That's the unique number for each user, his ID in our database. Then here we have some childs like business, home, and taxes here, and the monthly, and that are the categories which we use in our app. Then we have for each of three categories, business, home, and taxes, subchilds incomes and invested. So let's go and explain each one of these. As you can see, in incomes we have subchild incomes and then number of that income. We're starting counting from 0. So for this income here we have date and value, how much money came to our account and in which date it was made. That's everything that we need to know about each income in our app. Now let me close it. Let's go to invested. As you can see, we have subchild invested money and then invested a number of every investment. So what it means, for investments we have some description about them and we save them like this. And then here in invested money we have only values about our investment without description. We have date when that investment was submitted and then how much money we submitted. Also for each investment we have date and value, as you can see here. Then for each of these categories we have plans and then we have some value, some text about plans, what we want to do, and we have limit. Limit is in this case 10, so we don't want to spend more than 10 euros in our business category. Now let's go further. Let's review home. As you can see, same pattern here like for business. We have incomes and invested, and then subchilds we have date and value. We can just close this. Then we have invested money again, and then investments with description, and here is just value of that investment. I organize data like this because I want to read value for each investment easy without going to this investment, then trying to split this data and just get the price. That's very complicated, so I choose to make another subchild here and just type in the value. Also about the date. That's it about invested. Then we have plans, same story like for business, and then we have limit set it to -1. That's because user extended limit for home, or he hasn't added any limits, so his limit is -1, and if we read -1 from our database, then we know that user limit is not important. Let me explain taxes and we'll get back to monthly. About taxes, everything is same. We have incomes and invested, and then we have limit. Plans are missing here. It's because we don't have any plans for taxes category. And as you can see, we have incomes, invested, and that's everything about database organization. Also limit is set to -1, which means that we don't have any limit for our taxes. Now let's go to the monthly. As you can see, we have a few monthly investments here, and then we have our monthly earning. Then we have for each monthly investment, so that's it about this part, about business, home, monthly and taxes categories. Then we have our balance, business, home, name and taxes without subchilds. So because we read this data very often, we need to have it easy accessible. So I set just like this. So we have total balance and balance for each of these categories and our name here. Database organization is very important for your app because it's needed to get your data easy accessible and to get your data very quickly. Be careful when you organize your database. Also, if you see this like error icon here, that's because our security rules are defined as public. So that means that our app is still in process of testing, it's not released yet. And to finish our story with Firebase, we're going to talk about storage. Storage is a place where we save images from our application and we save them named user ID, so each picture has a unique name and we don't get any conflicts between images. It's very simple, we just type name in our application and then save our image like that. So that's it about this Firebase tutorial. We made a good introduction into Firebase as we're going to use it so much in some of next tutorials. Until then, thank you and goodbye.